normal people become terrified of criminals.
Shots were just fired. Police just came out and told us, and we're headed there right now.
They become terrified of their own government.
All three of them have been licking Donald Trump's boots for years for money and endorsements. Ron DeSantis, you've been a great governor, but you would have never been one without actually paying
Yeah, but I don't think that's the point he's making.
And you attacked him in your book.
He's talking about the hypocrisy.
Same thing with Chris Christie as a lobbyist, begging them for COVID money for his special interests in New Jersey, prepping him for the debates last time around. These people are now Monday morning quarterbacking some decision he made. I think the real enemy is not Donald Trump. It's not even Joe Biden. It is the deep state that at least Donald Trump attempted to take on. And if you want somebody who's going to speak truth to power, then vote for somebody who's going to speak the truth to you. Why am I the only person on the stage, at least, who can say that January 6th now does look like it was an inside job?
Whoa! Change the subject. Here we go.
20
There we
years
go.
about Saudi Arabia's involvement in 9/11. That the Great Replacement theory is not some grand right-wing conspiracy theory, but a basic statement of the Democratic Party's platform. That the 2020 election was indeed stolen by big tech. That the 2016 election, the one that Trump won for sure, was also one that was stolen from him by the national security establishment that actually put up the Trump-Russia collusion hoax.
Oh, now they want to cut him off.
There's a reason why I'm the only person on the stage who can say these things. That's what it's going to take, not people who were licking his boots one time and now Monday morning quarterbacking and criticizing
but he also sucks up to the Trump voter.
That's not his point, though. He's pointing out they were sucking it.
He still
No. They're kissing his boots, but now turning on him, trying to steal, and Vivek's standing out of it.
Vivek's going to turn against him, too.
The surgeries done on minors involve cutting off body parts at a time when these kids cannot even legally smoke a cigarette. Kids who go from puberty blockers to cross-sex hormones are at a much greater likelihood of winding up sterile. How is it that you think a parent should be able to okay these surgeries, never mind the sterilization of a child? And aren't you way too out of step on this issue to be the Republican nominee?
No, I'm not. Because Republicans believe in less government, not more. In less involvement with government, not more in government involvement in people's lives. And you know what, Megan? I trust parents.
No, dude, bro, no.
We should empower parents in education. We should empower parents to make more decisions about where their kids go to school. I agree. We should empower parents to be teaching the values that they believe in their homes without the government telling them what those values should be. And yet we want to take other parental rights away. I'm sorry. As a father of 4, I believe there is no one who loves my children more than me.
And if they want to cut his penis off.
There's no one who loves my children more than my wife. There's no one who cares more about their success and health in life than we do. Not some government bureaucrat, you look at these jokers down in Congress. It takes them 3 weeks to pick a speaker, and up until 2 days ago, they couldn't promote somebody in the military in the United States Senate who earned their new rank. And we're going to put my children's health and my decisions in their hands? For them to make those decisions? For Joe Biden to make those decisions?
Bro, they're just saying don't give kids sex changes. They're not saying anything else.
Let me just say this.
Yeah, that's like,
this is not something I favor.
It's like weird
I
filibustering.
think it's a
He's got a filibuster so he can get FaceTime on camera.
But that's not the way
my
to do it.
opinion
I
as
get
a
you.
parent, Megan. And I get to make the decisions about my children, not anybody else. And every parent out there who's watching tonight, you start to turn over just a little bit of this authority, the authority they're going to take from you next, you're not going to like.
You think he beats his kids?
For parents each and every time.
I don't want the government stepping in when I got my belt out.
No, he's got a sack of sweet Valencia oranges.
You guys are going to get to weigh in.
Yeah, no bruises,
Here's my
man.
follow-up
My
question.
kid wants his
You
hand
talk
cut
about
off.
parental
He thinks
rights.
he
Let's
should
talk
be an
about
amputee.
When you were governor in 2017,
what?
you signed a law that required
Here we
new
go.
guidelines for schools dealing with transgender students. Those guidelines required schools to accept a child's preferred gender identity even if the minor's parents objected.
Whoa!
And it said that there is no duty for schools to notify parents
Megyn Kelly.
if their son or daughter changes their gender identity, allowing this serious issue to remain a secret between the school and a child.
It is true.
How is any of that pro-parental rights?
Megyn Kelly.
You accuse me of, Chris. It is absolutely true.
That's simply not true. That's simply not true. That law was put into effect in 2018 and regulated in 2018 after I was out of office,
the guidelines.
Megan. No, we did not, Megan. We did not issue those guidelines, and you're wrong about that. Simply wrong. I have stood up each and every time.
So I think if this is one issue that's disqualifying, it's this one.
I stood up every single time for parents to be able to make the decisions for their minor children.
But parents...
Every single time, parents should make those decisions. And by the way, you know what? Every once in a while, parents are going to make decisions.
Fact check, Politico, 2017, Chris Christie signs bill to extend protections for trans students.
Away from parents.
He is lying.
You don't know that slippery slope, what rights are going to be taken away next, and what's going to be focused on.
As a parent, you do not have the right to abuse your kids. This is cutting off their genitals. This is mutilating these minors. These are irreversible procedures, and this is something that other countries in Europe, like Sweden,
how is this a controversial position?
They saw it did incalculable damage. They've shut it down.
But it is important
to point out that
legislation
in Florida banning the mutilation of minors because it is wrong. We cannot allow this to happen in this country. And I know Chris disagrees with me, and I think he has an honest position. Nikki disagrees with me. She opposes the bill that we did to ban that. She said the law shouldn't get involved with it. You said the law shouldn't get involved with it.
She's so under her
also,
skin.
though, I think, and this flows from what she did as governor of South Carolina, they had a bill to try to say that men shouldn't go into girls' bathrooms. And she killed that bill, and she bragged that she killed that bill. Even to this day, she bragged that. I don't think men should be going into little girls' bathrooms. I think it's wrong, and I think we have every right to protect them from that.
I am going to come to you. I promise to have seconds. Go quickly.
I think the North Star here is transgenderism is a mental health disorder. We don't let you smoke a cigarette by the age of 18. We don't let you have an addictive drink of alcohol by the age of 21. And I just challenge Ron DeSantis to go one step further and support what I think is clearly within the authority to do, using federal funds just like Reagan did in '84 for the Highway Act that said the minimum drinking age needs to be 21. We can do the same thing when it comes to banning genital mutilation or chemical castration.
Okay.
I know Ron's been unclear about that on the federal level. I'm crystal clear. That's where I stand.
Got it.
That's a mental health disorder. That's where we need to be at.
Go ahead.
It is literally a disorder.
So
it's in the DSM-5.
Ron has continued to lie because he's losing.
No, it's not a lie.
You are lying.
You said it on tape.
So first of all, I will say that when I was governor, 10 years ago, when the bathroom situation came up, we had maybe a handful of kids that were dealing with an issue. And I said, we don't need to bring government into this, but boys go into boys' bathrooms, girls go into girls' bathrooms. And if anyone else has an issue, they use a private bathroom. Now, 10 years later, we see that this issue has exploded. And this shows how hypocritical Ron continues to be. When he was running for governor and they asked him about that, he said he didn't think bathroom bills were a good use of his time. You can go look that up.
I signed a bathroom bill in Florida. So
I don't believe her.
No.
Ron's a culture warrior. It's the only thing he's got. These are his issues.
The idea that you would say that I was against
that. You didn't. You killed it. I signed it. I stood up for little girls. You didn't do it. And there was this going on.
They are
I
a
was
good
actually just in
contrast
South
because they're both
Carolina.
governors.
Some of the legislators told me at the time there were boys going into the girls. That's the whole reason why they did it.
No.
And so they say when she does that explanation that doesn't hold water. And this is the upstate of South Carolina.
Ron,
I signed the bill. I protected the girls.
Do you know South Carolinians?
She did not do it.
Do you know South Carolinians? No. You are not going to talk about my state like that because I will tell you for a fact.
State lady.
South Carolinians never allowed that to happen, and we did not have that issue at the time. What I have always said is boys go into a boys' bathroom, girls go into a girls' bathroom. But hold on one second. I also say that biological boys shouldn't be playing in girls' sports, and I will do everything I can to stop that because it's the women's issue of our time.
The thing is, McMaster, who's the governor of South Carolina now, is way more Trump and way more base than she ever was.
We're going to move on.
So they have
Mr.
moved past her,
Ramaswamy,
even if they ever supported
when discussing
her.
your Hindu faith in September, you seemed to take a shot at Ambassador Haley, who is also Indian American and who converted to Christianity as an adult. You said, an easy thing for me to do, being a politician, is to shorten my name, profess to be a Christian, and then run. Make Vivek Vicky or whatever, end quote. Are you questioning Nikki Haley's Christian convictions? And why has your campaign made a point of referring to Ambassador Haley by her given first name, Nimarata, even though she's gone by Nikki for her whole life?
Well, my whole deal is if Nikki Haley, of all people, should know how to pronounce my name correctly, the rest of the news media can learn it.
Vivek.
My deal is I'll call her Nikki when she can say my own name right. That's our little fun side bet there. Here's what I will say is deeper. I don't question her faith, but I question her authenticity. And I think that's deeper here. We were just talking about the trans issue. This is a symptom of a deeper cancer in American life, identity politics. This new religion that says your race, your gender, and your sexuality are your identity. It is anti-American. It is meritocratic. It's anti-meritocratic, and it is dividing this country to a breaking point. And I've spoken about this to the left. My books are all about this. I've preached this to the left, but it's even worse when Republicans try to play the same game. We're talking about that trans issue. And Nikki Haley's campaign launch video sounded like a woke Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light ad talking about how she would kick in heels. At the first debate, she said that only a woman can get this job done. That's what she said. After the third debate, when I criticized Ronna McDaniel after 5 failed years of leadership of this party and criticized Nikki for her corrupt foreign dealings as a military contractor, she said that I have a woman problem. Nikki, I don't have a woman problem. You have a corruption problem. And I think Nikki is corrupt. This is a woman who will send your kids to die.
Whoa, oh my God, that was actually it. That was a real thing.
This is the problem. Using identity politics.
I tweeted that thing that somebody sent out, and I thought that was a joke. I thought it was Photoshopped. I retweeted that.
This is going to be a meme.
He did it on purpose.
There's going to be a big penis. Yeah, he's going to get tons of
holy shit.
memes.
This is how this game is
I thought that was a joke.
The puppet masters put up their puppet, and I reject
He's doing
the
that
use of
right now
identity
because he wants it to be a meme.
Yep.
It has been a cancer.
He wants everyone to know his name.
And I'm sick and tired of the double standards
So,
of people.
that was
amazing.
My buddy sent me a picture of the tweet. I thought it was Photoshopped.
Okay, thank you.
I thought it was Photoshopped. Like, this is like 10 minutes ago.
Would you like to respond?
I thought it was Photoshopped,
No.
and it's real.
It's not
But that's not him holding up. That's an overhead shot of him preparing it.
Correct.
At every step. She knows it's
I thought this was shot.
Okay.
And it's like, holy cow, it was real. Oh my God.
To you.
Okay, we got to move on to this.
I love
Now,
this.
by
Wow,
arrangement,
dude.
with the
I'm
Republican
gonna
National
Photoshop
Committee,
something
we've got
right now,
two
actually.
questions for you about the Justice Department and our election system. Here's Tom Fitton with Judicial Watch.
No, let's just talk about Vivek crushing Nikki. Can we please talk about that, please? Vivek crushing Nikki? No?
That's
President Trump and many of his supporters claim
that's
law enforcement agencies
most yoked
have abused his civil rights for the last
yoked
8
dude out
years
there.
by, among other things, spying on him and now prosecuting him while having treated Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden with kid gloves. A recent Gallup poll shows that Americans think more highly of the U.S. Postal Service than they do the FBI or Justice Department. What would you do as president to restore the faith of the American people in these agencies?
Well, first off, I'm the only person on this stage who's actually done a job in the Department of Justice. I was the U.S. Attorney in New Jersey, in the 5th largest office in this country, appointed by President Bush on September 10th, 2001.
Okay.
And it was an extraordinary time in this country to be on the front lines of fighting the greatest attack against our country since Pearl Harbor. And I'm proud of the 7 years I spent in the Justice Department. And one of the reasons I am is because I had an Attorney General when I came in named John Ashcroft. And John Ashcroft stood up and told each and every one of us our job was to do one thing, to make sure justice was done every day, regardless of partisanship, regardless of gender or race or any other consideration. And that's what we did for 7 years. And at a time when our country was at its greatest moment of danger in the last 40 years, we did exactly that. And there was not another domestic terrorist attack on this soil. So what I would do as president, having had that experience, and the only one who's had that experience, is to pick an attorney general who will absolutely do the same thing that John Ashcroft did. To pick U.S. attorneys who will only care about making sure that justice is done without regard to any other consideration but the facts that are presented and whether someone is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt and the government can prove it. We have had attorneys general like Eric Holder and Loretta Lynch and Jeff Sessions and now our current attorney general who have not met that standard. And the only way you restore people's faith in the justice system is to put someone like that in charge of the Justice Department, and then as president, to get the hell out of the way on anything that involves criminal investigations. If a president's involved in trying to do something and put their thumb on the scales, Donald Trump says he will do.
Oh, shut up.
That makes people much less likely to believe our justice system can be fair.
Thank you.
Was Chris talking? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, he made okay
Many
point.
Republicans are concerned about the legitimacy of elections.
They
A
have
federal
3 women
judge
and they're
just
still
ruled
calling
that
in someone else to ask
Pennsylvania
questions.
must count undated mail-in ballots, and unlike Alabama, many states still don't require any identification to vote. What should states do now to increase election integrity and voter confidence for the 2024 election?
Blockchain. Well, Tom, thanks for the question. Thanks for what you guys do at Judicial Watch. It's really, really important. There's a lot of corruption in this government. You guys are doing a great job.
Judicial Watch is
what
awesome.
you should do for election integrity is do what we did in Florida. 20 years ago, Florida and elections was a joke. Everybody would laugh at it. I came in, I removed a couple supervisors from South Florida. We require voter ID universal, no Zuckerbucks, no mass mail balloting, and no ballot harvesting. We even have an agency that prosecutes people for violating election laws. The result of that, in both 2020 and 2022, we counted millions and millions of votes on election night, produced the results, it was transparent, and everybody was happy. That is not happening throughout this country. But let me tell you this as the nominee. I think it's important. Not every state's where we need it to be. There is ballot harvesting in places like Nevada, all these places. I am not going to fight with one hand tied behind my back. I'm going to have organizations in all the swing states. If they're harvesting, we're harvesting. If they're Zuckerbucks, we're Zuckerbucks. We are going to exploit whatever the rules are. I favor changing the rules to be like Florida and some of the other states that have done a good job. But until then, we have to do that. And then just on the Justice Department and FBI. I mean, I remember being, in Iraq working with FBI on the ground and being, and then I was a special assistant. I used to have such a high regard for these agencies. What they did to Donald Trump with the Russia collusion was one of the biggest abuses of power in the history of our country. These agencies need to be cleaned out. With me, you'll have a new FBI director on day one. We're going to clear out the DOJ, the IRS, all these places. Buckle your seatbelts. There's going to be a new sheriff in town.
Thank you. All right, we got to do a quick break.
That line,
We're going to come back in 1 minute.
It's a good one.
Up next.
Just once.
He's got big sheriffs.
I'm photoshopping right
Photoshopping.
Yeah, I'm using my phone. It's kind of
that blew my mind, dude. So like when
when
Josh, my buddy downstairs, was like, he sent me the picture, the meme of that, of the whole, Haley's corrupt. I thought it was literally Photoshopped.
So you had like an aerial shot of it?
Yeah, there's like overhead shot. I retweeted, and I like literally thought it was like, somebody Photoshopped. Ha 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 ha.
You know he wants it.
And then he holds up. I'm like, holy shit.
For a long time. Too.
I know, it was wild.
He just stood there and had it at the correct angle.
Multiple
He's like,
camera
I am
angles.
about to become a meme.
Grandpa, how did Nikki Haley's political career end? Just show that picture. I was like, dude, that crushed it, bro.
Yeah.
I am curious to see what the polls are like tomorrow because Chris Christie's barely here. I mean, he's not talking at all. And in fact, there was a whole segment where they never even tossed him a question.
I couldn't even hear him breathing over the mic either.
So No, you couldn't. And then you have Nikki Haley, who she is holding a pretty steady position in New Hampshire. But again, will this shake it enough to put, I would be really curious. Right now, it doesn't look like Vivek would win New Hampshire. It looks like Donald Trump will win Iowa and New Hampshire, but I wonder who that second place will be. Will that be enough?
There you go. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.